All right, Rick Dollar, we are live at the Compound Quarantine Studios. That's what we're going to call it this week because God only knows, what's going on out in the real world. But we're live at Net Radio Dogs Roadshow with the one and the only Mr. Carl Jackson. Carl,
How are you, Rick?
Give yourself a hand, Carl.
Yay, yay, yay.
Carl's quarantined too. He told me to shut off the camera because he wasn't looking too good today. And I guess
that's not true. I told you I wouldn't do it without the camera.
Yeah, but I haven't taken a bath today, so.
Oh,
anyway.
okay.
Anyway, man, how you been doing, brother?
Hanging in there, man. I think been around the house for about a month, and
oh my gosh,
brave enough to do a drive-through every now and then.
Are you putting a new toilet in here and there and something,
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, the Lowe's guy, he ain't coming to your house, man. He ain't going to nobody's house.
I had a house project going for 2 years. It's driving us nuts. So.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. Yeah, you told me about that. I don't think makes me kind of shy of wanting to get something done for anything now, I tell you.
Believe me.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we wanted to share some time with you today because today is a very special day in Carl Jackson's life, and along with a bunch of other people. But today's Glenn Campbell's birthday, so we wanted to salute Glenn and talk with you about your relationship with him a little bit for what time that we have, and share some good music, man. You're our Spotlight Artist of the Week, so we got some pretty good tracks that you sent me that I'm just tickled to death about.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I'm happy that you asked me to be a part, and certainly on a special day like today, Glenn's birthday. I miss him very, very much. He was so good to me. He made such a difference in my life, and continues to do so. Even through his daughter Ashley, who's my goddaughter. It's just Glenn's a special, special person in my life.
Yeah, man, I tell you, that daughter is some kind of banjo player too. Now, who taught her this? Okay, it wouldn't happen to have been you, would it?
Well, I'm not going to take credit for totally teaching her. Now, I mean, I've shown her. I think she'd tell you that I've shown her a thing or two, and
I guarantee it
helped her a lot with it. But now she learned to play on her own, and she is a super talent. She's a super songwriter. She's an excellent singer, and she got the Campbell gene. she got
Ain't no doubt about that, bro. That is just
the only thing is she just was easier to look at,
Oh man! Look, now you're getting me backed in a corner here. My wife listens to this; she's gonna kill me, and then she's gonna come to CAMPBELL and find you.
everybody that knows Ashley Campbell knows I am joking very much right now.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you something.
One of the most beautiful girls around, and
I have to agree with you, but I'm going to tell you something. I have never seen anybody that seems to be so comfortable with a banjo. I mean, if you talk to her in a normal sense, you wouldn't think that she is like this supreme musician banjo player. But I've seen these YouTube videos of where she was at the Station Inn and stuff, man, and she just wears it out like it's a second nature to her or something.
Yeah, she can play. She's very comfortable with it, and she's like a sponge too. Every time you show her something, she's got it in just a short matter of time, and she can play. She's really a talented musician, and I'm so proud of her.
Well, a lot of that, man, is and you know this as well as I do. A lot of that is just loving what you're doing. If
Absolutely.
you want to do it, then it'll come out in you. So
absolutely, and she does love it with all her heart. I mean, she's got the music in her, buddy. Believe me.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt about it.
It flows out all the time, and
that's it.
On the page with her lyrics and through her instruments, the banjo, guitar. She's a fine keyboard player. I mean,
really, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, she plays keyboards too. She's not a session player on keyboards, but she can play whatever she needs to.
Oh Lord,
she can play way more on keyboard than I can. Chopsticks, basically.
Well, Carl Jackson, let me tell you something. I've known you for a while. We first came to Nashville. You showed us around, bought me dinner, and took me to the Station Inn. I mean, all that by rights, we should be married by now. But,
one date.
Yeah, one date, baby. I'm cheap. Let me tell you, it was a lot of fun, and I knew then that I had a lifetime friend right there, buddy. Because I was like, man, me and this guy get along way too well. And then you started, I think you sent us to CBS Studios the next day, and who did we talk to? I cannot remember the gentleman's name, but we were there for 6 hours before
Gosh,
we got
I can't remember who you
Mr.
interviewed.
Bradley.
Oh, Lou Bradley.
Lou Bradley took us over there, man. We saw where everybody had recorded everything in that studio.
Oh, yeah.
Patsy Cline to Merle Haggard.
Lou worked on so many #1 records in this town. Just one of the greatest engineers of all time.
He's just unreal, man. Well, I know, you and Glenn were really close. Now, you did a lot of good music together. What was your first #1 song that you got when you were working with Glenn?
When I was working with Glenn, playing with
Mm-hmm.
Glenn. Now, well, I didn't have anything that I wrote when I was working with Glenn. It was the #1 or anything. But I played on several #1s and sang on several #1s. Probably, there would have been Southern Nights, of course. I mean, I played
man, I love that song.
On Southern Nights, and I remember singing. I sang harmony on A Lady Like You. I played banjo, and I think sang a little bit too on Faithless Love. Oh gosh, I can't even remember. I played on so many things, different things. I joined Glenn's band in 1972, so that was, right after the big hits of, by the time I get to Phoenix and Wichita and all that stuff, had already been recorded before I met Glenn. But then he had a resurgence there about 75 or so, where Southern Nights and Rhinestone Cowboy and all that stuff happened. And he was huge already. Well, he became huger.
Is that Grammy? Now they call you Grammy boy. It's not because of your grammar, I can tell you that. Huger.
Yeah, huger. But he was.
They call you Grammy boy because of them little statues that you have.
There you go. But,
how many of those you got now?
I've got 2 actual hood ornaments and another certificate or 2 around here. But you have to be the main part of the deal to get the actual hood ornaments, as I call them.
Oh my gosh!
I never know how to answer that. People will go, "How many Grammys you got?" And I don't know if the certificate. I don't think a certificate counts as an actual Grammy. The way
it's a nomination, though. I mean,
Yeah. Well, no, it's actually a winner. Like James Taylor and Alison Krauss. I produced that record where they won a Grammy also.
Okay.
But I didn't get the hood ornament because I was the producer in that case,
man.
And the artist got it in that case. But then on the other hand, for the album Living, Loving, Losing, I got the hood ornaments, and the artist didn't get the hardware. So I guess it works out. But some people argue and they go, no, you won 3. And I'm like, well, okay, if you want to say
whatever you say.
That does sound a third better.
Yeah, really. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the truth. Hey, look, I love these tunes that you sent me, man. Pretty Polly is I'm just going to tell you something. If you listen to the first episode of Net Radio Dogs Roadshow, I played this the second cut.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I just love the song. And
I love the song too. I thought it's just really hardcore bluegrass. It was part of the Orthophonic Joy project.
And that was the entire reason I was in Nashville at that time too, was to do a little investigating about Orthophonic Joy with you.
Yeah, that's right. That was a fun track to do. A lot of good picking on there.
Oh man, let me tell you,
that was fun. That was a fun record to do too, man.
Exactly. Well, tell me about Arkansas Farm Boy.
Arkansas Farm Boy is a tune I wrote about Glenn. I wrote it on a flight I believe, to Australia, either to Australia or back from Australia. And I don't know. Glenn had told me how he learned to play on a $5 Sears and Roebuck guitar.
Holy crap.
And that his granddaddy taught him in the pines, and it just gave me an idea to write this song called Arkansas Farm Boy. And I wrote it, played it for Glenn. He loved it. And we actually did a little demo on it way back then. This was probably, I don't know, I'm guessing 1979, 80, somewhere in there.
Wow.
When I actually wrote the song. But then when Glenn went into the studio, or asked me to, Kim asked me to take him into the studio at the end of the goodbye tour and everything. He had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
But she wanted to do some final recordings on him. And so I produced his last studio album, which is called Adios. And luckily enough, I mean, I was really, really honored, because Glenn, he always loved that song so much that he was able to do it, and we recorded it, and I'm so proud of that recording, because at the time Glenn he had no problems with melodies at all, and with his condition, but he had a hard time with lyrics. But for some reason or another, he pretty well retained at least the chorus on that song, and like the rest of the album, I had to do, I had to do a lot of stuff one line at a time. He had to read it, because he just he couldn't remember, he couldn't remember lyrics.
Exactly.
But I was so honored that he remembered that song enough and loved it enough that he wanted to do it. And when we were talking about songs for the album, that was one that he really wanted to record again, and record for real, put it out. And that meant so much to me, to be able to produce that song on him and have him sing about himself and sing a song that was so close to my heart. And I had written especially to honor him. It just, I treasure it, man. I treasure that cut. And he got nominated for a Grammy for that cut.
Crap, dude. See, they just follow you around. I think Grammy Awards are running at your feet, sometimes.
Right, yeah.
You're going to have to turn around and try to catch one day,
Yeah, right.
All right,
Glenn's the best, man. He's the best ever.
He was, man. You just got to think about it. He was not a country artist. He wasn't a pop artist. He was Glenn Campbell.
He was Glenn Campbell. He was the artist.
If we had people like that now that thought that way, man, I get so tired of genres in music. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you what, man, it's sad now to think that Glenn Campbell and Merle Haggard and Buck Owens, people like that, would have a hard time getting a deal.
I know.
And that is sad.
That is,
because you're talking about talents just head and shoulders above nearly everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
Talent, you're never going to find that kind of thing happening anymore. And I mean, I say never, but I don't do that very often. But it's it's the timing in life, and I think everything that brought Glenn to where he was. And it was weird that you ran across him at that fair and you met him, and you know what I'm saying. And it shaped it shaped the rest of both of your lives.
Absolutely. So, made a huge difference. And I just can never say enough about him. He was the most talented singer I've ever been around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was perfection.
Yeah.
He was like he had Pro Tools built into his throat or something.
He did, didn't he? I remember one time you told me if I could get around some Pro Tools, you could make me a singer.
Oh yeah, I can.
Kind of worries me. I don't know, Carl. You don't think you have that much patience, buddy?
No, I
It'd
don't.
Be ugly.
We have the technology.
The $6 million singer.
We can rebuild him.
I doubt it. All right. What about We'll Call on Him?
We Call on Him is a cool story behind that. Glenn, he did Elvis had so many movies out, and there was this particular writer, and now I'm going to draw a blank and can't say the writer's name right now, but this one guy he had like 50 something songs recorded by Elvis for his movies.
Mm-hmm.
This one particular writer, and Glenn did at least half of the demos for all those songs back in the day, back before Glenn was a big star. And so we got this idea to do this record called Glenn Sings for the King, and Universal Capitol put it out. And this particular song, I got permission. It was the one song that Elvis had recorded this song based on Glenn's demo.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, and luckily they had sung it in the same key. And so I contacted the folks at Sony that owned Elvis's performance, and and talked to the folks at Capitol and everything. And wound up getting the permission to get Elvis's original tracks, and then get Glenn's original track, and built it together into a duet.
Wow.
Glenn and Elvis, as far as I know, the only one that exists. And man, what an honor to do that, and
yeah, no doubt.
To work not only with Glenn, but also with Elvis, who is another great singer, by the way.
Yeah.
And it was just that was a big thrill, and it's part of that album called Glenn Sings for the King, and it's the one song on there that I actually produced myself, and it's pretty cool. Hey, who'd you produce? Glenn Campbell and Elvis.
Dude, let me tell you something. I don't think you got anything to worry about. Most of the time people know who Carl Jackson is just by knowing who Carl Jackson is, okay? So it's not but I mean, I was thrilled. Crazy.
I mean, you got a record label, you got 2 record labels that are trusting you with 2 of the greatest artists of all time.
That's right.
And that makes you feel really good that they know you're not going to put something together that's junk,
Yeah, that's like halfway done.
Really proud of it. It came out well.
No doubt about it.
To hear those 2 guys singing together, it's pretty cool.
Wow, it's kind of scary, isn't it? I'll tell you. Okay, what about Safe Water? I really enjoyed this tune. I think this was off the Mark Twain record, wasn't it?
Off the Mark Twain record, yeah. And Mark Twain Words and Music. And I wrote it with Jerry Salley, my good buddy Jerry Salley.
Who's that?
Jerry's a great artist. And
I love Jerry.
Writer. Oh yeah, he's a
good fella.
And he's one of my best friends. And we wrote the song specifically for that project. We got together and watched the Ken Burns Mark Twain documentary, and I mean, we studied up on it, man. We wanted to get everything just right of what actually happened. I mean, Safe Water, that's what Mark Twain means, And so we wrote this song, and we made it a part of that project, and I'm really proud of it. I actually did the lead singing on it, and I believe Sonia Isaacs is singing on there with me. It's
really another one you can't go wrong with right there.
Oh my gosh, she's amazing.
So that gives me chills listening to that woman.
Yeah, that was a fun song to do, and like I say, it's a part of that project there where there's so many great artists on there, and I'm just honored to be a part of it.
Oh, I got you. Well, Carl, let me tell you something, buddy. We've talked a lot about Glenn and a little bit about you, but I'm just going to tell you something. If anybody has to remember back, you were big in country music. You were with Glenn. You did your own thing. You started producing. Here's the cool thing about all of this. You started with a couple of the biggest names in bluegrass. So the way I look at it, it reminds me like of Stapleton and people like that, man. Bluegrassers always start out bluegrassers. You know what I'm saying? And you can always hear that bluegrass in the back of whatever they're doing. Doesn't matter.
Never
like at banjo ringing, with Glenn Campbell and the tones that Stapleton does. And, Jerry started out writing songs and was big in the bluegrass. Now he's doing what he's doing. I mean, Cord, that's a story in itself right there, buddy. Anybody can write Highway 40 blues and, hang out with Skaggs for a little while and get it done. I mean, my gosh, you're all three living a charmed life here, and but it's because you've done the right thing. You've always been straight up with people and doing things good. So
I
that's
appreciate that
hey,
much.
that's an honor for me. I've I've known you guys a little bit, but I tell you, it's just been. I was thinking the other day, how's it going to be, in the future? I mean, are we all going to still be able to, hang out some or something and laugh and cut up like we've always done on these interviews and stuff? And that's what we want to do. That's what I want to keep. I want to keep that going forever because it's been a positive thing in my life too, just with you guys. But
I think we'll get things back to normal here before long. I
hope so. I hope so. I really do.
Miss playing, music, playing live music.
Yeah, man. I mean, Station Inn is calling, brother.
I'm telling you, we're used to playing every Monday night here in Nashville.
I know.
It's hard not to be able to do that, but we'll get back there before too long. I think
you will
work out.
You will. All right. I guess we've burned up enough airtime here. Sponsors probably going, hey, what about my commercial?
Well, when we burn it up, we do it really
yes,
good.
we do it, buddy. We got a 48-minute on YouTube to prove it all. And by the way, Mr. YouTube, for some reason you've decided to spread your face all over social media and the internet, which is good. So
please
what's your YouTube channel? Is it just Carl Jackson's music?
It's Robin and Carl Jackson. Robin Jackson. Yeah. Robin.
You got the boss's name in there. Okay.
Yeah, she's on there too. Absolutely. She set it up. So she's a Facebook and YouTube ninja.
Yeah, she is, man. Ain't no doubt about that. She's telling me she told me the other day, she said, if you talk to Carl again, please mention his YouTube channel. And I was like, wow.
Absolutely.
She said that with conviction and strength.
Yeah, man. Tell people to please check that out. I think that there's a lot of stuff up there I think they'll like, and she's adding more stuff all the time. I'm pretty good at doing some of the video editing and stuff like that at least with iMovie. I mean, I can handle that pretty good, but my worst thing is trying to put it up.
Yeah.
She's good at all that stuff.
I got it done. Now what do I do with it?
Exactly. So.
Well, Carl, I tell you what, brother, it's been a big honor, of course, having you on the radio show. We are going to try to get Jerry and Cordell on here too. Here in the next little bit.
Oh, they'll do it.
Oh yeah, we get these guys on here, man. We'll have us a good time. But
absolutely,
brother, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming on the show, and I love you guys. And if you need anything, let us know. Okay.
We love you too, Rick, man, and we appreciate everything you do for us. We really do. I appreciate you doing this special show and talking about the great Glenn Campbell and making me a part of that, because I can never say enough good things about that man. He was the best.
True. That's true. Well, brother, take it easy. If you need anything, let us know.
You got it, pal.
All right, man. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mr. Carl Jackson, the great Mr. Carl Jackson. And when we come up, we're going to have probably some new music from the Steel Drivers coming up next.